What up? What up? What up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream, man. We got a lot to break down, a lot to cover. Crazy day yesterday, man. Draft day really didn't feel like draft day. It felt like trade deadline day or something. The way the major splash that happened during the beginning of the draft. So we didn't even get to really take in the draft. As soon as the Lakers lost all their picks, I was immediately uninterested in the draft. And overall, the draft was kind of a dud, other than the fact that, of course, we made that deal. So very excited to break down the outlook for this roster, how I think we can look by the end of free agency, and of course, with free agency around the corner coming Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time and 3 p.m. Pacific. We're gonna be here for all the breaking news. Got a lot of speculation already going on, names being thrown around, guys. So I want to get you guys' intake. What's up, Kevin? What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. I want to get you guys' take on who you would prefer. It seems like the Buddy Hield deal could be dead, but you never know. It could come back from the dead and at the last minute. So you just never know. So it's good to keep an open mind. But as of right now, it looks dead. Obviously, you guys know there was a 3-team deal where Tristan Thompson landed in Sacramento. So I wouldn't see a need for Montrez anymore, even though Montrez is the better player. So, and it's going to be interesting. He said, "What's good, Dan? How you doing, bro?" I'm doing amazing, man. I had a great night of sleep, woke up, went to the gym, just got back, and I'm ready with my good people, man. So I want to break down how, some of the players on the roster that still remain, who I think is coming back, who I think is gone. Obviously, we didn't trigger the hard cap, so we can still use I think it's like half of our mid-level exception, which is like 5.6 mil or something like that. And what's up, big baby? And we can also use the veterans minimum, okay, to sign other free agents. Now, notable free agents are Rudy Gay, who we're rumored to have interest in. Supposedly, we're linked to Rudy Gay. That would be really dope. Carmelo Anthony's another one. Obviously, we knew about that one. But I have the list right here of some of the notable free agents that are available. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan, more likely than not, is out of reach, but you just never know. Last minute, maybe Dennis can't find a partner to give him all that money he wants. Maybe somebody doesn't want to burn their money in free agency, and he's going to need us to facilitate a deal, and we can maybe work something out. Although I don't see DeMar DeRozan fit here anymore because we need some floor spacers. But we also have Patty Mills, who's also available. Otto Porter, who's my favorite, by the way. Otto Porter Jr. is rumored to be interested in the mid-level exception. If he will take that from us, if Otto Porter will take the mid-level exception, I'm, jumping on that ASAP over any free agent that's available, because we're talking about a 3-and-D wing who can snipe as a 40% three-point shooter for his career. He's somebody that fits this team. He will give us size. He's 6'10". You could play him at the 2 or the 3. I don't care. And he would slide right in and just do damage. Very similar to what Nicholas Batum did for the Flippers, but better. And then you have Brian Forbes, who's another three-point shooter. He's an option. Some people have said JJ Redick and stuff like that, but he's on a kind of like a down year, so I don't know. There's Victor Oladipo. Obviously, he's coming off of an injury, so I don't know how that would be. But then you have Dwight Howard on a veterans minimum would be an absolute must. I know, again, our priority is shooting, but if we want a big who can rim protect off the bench, Dwight is your guy. My boy said, DTLF, I'm glad Westbrook is going to get this chip. And just the storyline, man, if the Nets are lucky enough to get to the finals and face us, they're going to get spanked. And I feel like that story would be insane, He said Otto, Patty, and Gay would be some great pickups. Now, I'm not sure we can get all of them, but if we can get at least one or two of those guys, I'd be ecstatic. Now, there's going to be some under the radar guys. Obviously, there were some undrafted free agents that the Lakers are signing to training camp. That Matt McCollum guy, that Ayeyi, or however you pronounce his name. There's a couple of young, talented prospects that we get to feast our eyes on in summer league. So it's going to be intriguing to see if we maybe find a diamond in the rough or something like that. And also, I'm curious to see if THT will be in summer league. I'm not sure if he will, since it's his third year. Maybe he feels like he doesn't need it, but I'd love to see it, man. So summer league, again, first game coming August 8th. Make sure you guys tune in for that. I'll be here pre and post per usual. And, I'm very excited to see if we did end up James Ennis as well. I'm very excited, to see who if we found another one, But if we found the next Alex Caruso or the next THT, even though we didn't have a pick, this is kind of like having a pick, because A lot of people said Ayegi should have been drafted. Really didn't follow him too much in Gonzaga, but he seems to be like a solid 3-and-D guy who can move off the ball, and he's 6'5", so we can definitely use another shooting guard. But he is signed to a 2-way deal. So for those of you that don't know how he plays, you can always look up his highlights on YouTube and check him out. My man said DTLF Ray Allen. He's been out of the league for years, so I'm not even sure if he would come back. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him if he does, though, or even a Jamal Crawford type off the bench. I wouldn't mind. It seems like these guys still have a lot of potential in the league, right? So, this was a great draft, by the way. This was a great draft. So I'm looking forward to it. Kevin King thinks, Ayayi's a steal. Like I said, I'd be lying to you guys if I told you I followed his collegiate career. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to reserve my opinions on this guy, and I'm going to see how he looks during summer league and then obviously training camp and preseason if he gets that far. A lot of people are excited, though, man, that this is that year. And the rumors are heating up about, the Lakers signing potential free agents. Who do you guys like, though? I'm going to head over to the comment section. I want to know who you guys like. Do you guys prefer Otto Porter Jr.? If you only had a choice of these three, Carmelo Anthony, Otto Porter Jr., or Rudy Gay, who are you taking? My choice, Otto Porter Jr. But the other two, I think, seem more realistic as of right now. He said Michael Beasley. Nah, he's done. Have a feeling we're getting Buddy Hield. Now, that's still a possibility. It's a long shot, but maybe Tristan Thompson was acquired to reroute him to LA. Maybe he's going to be one of our bigs, right? Since he's already familiar with LeBron James. But I see most people want Melo and Rudy, but maybe Otto 2, Otto Porter, the younger one. That's a funny take. Melo, OPJ. Now maybe we're gonna end up with 2 or 3 of these guys, but that's a long shot. As of right now, I think we'd be lucky to get 1 or 2. Honestly, these are plug in and play guys. Otto Porter could start for you immediately. Rudy Gay can come off the bench or start. He was solid for the Spurs last season and the season before that. I think he was there for 2 seasons or more. I'm not sure. And then everybody knows what Carmelo can do. So my question is, do you guys think Anthony Davis, in order to space the floor a little bit better, do you guys think he moves over to the center position and LeBron to power forward, or do you think it'll remain how it is and we still got to get a center? Personally, I think he's going to move over to the center, but we might get a backup center for certain matchups in the playoffs. That's just me, though. He said, Dan, I'm afraid we're going to get bogged down with too many old guys. Nah, don't worry about that. Lakers scouting department is insane. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they found another diamond or 2 in the rough and during summer league in Vegas. So I'm telling you, man, these undrafted free agents, I'm hearing good things about them. Again, didn't really follow their collegiate careers. I knew that Matt McCullen guy because, he's a highlight in high school and he was jumping out the gym, and everybody loves a white boy that can bounce like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that translates over. People are calling him the next Caruso. I'm like, stop it. That's ridiculous. That's immense pressure to fill those type of shoes. And by the way, we still have to worry about if we're going to re-sign Caruso. I hope we do. And obviously THC is most likely going to stay unless it gets rerouted and that 3-team deal somehow as an incentive to get that done. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but Rob has something in his sleeve. Now, here's the interesting part. Before we acquired Westbrook and people were asking me who I thought was the highest probability, I kept saying Westbrook. And people were, well, what about his ego? What about, his bad personality in the locker room, blah, 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 blah. I was like, listen, I'm sure he's going to have to leave that at the door. I'm sure they'll have a conversation at some point. And today reports came out that 2 weeks prior to the trade, they all met in LA in somebody's house, and it was AD, LeBron, and him talking about roles. So you can almost guarantee that the team is already complete. It's just we can't announce nothing until free agency officially, gets through. I'm sure we already have Rudy Gay or Carmelo or a combination of players, or maybe even Buddy Hield is already done. It just, for tampering reasons, nothing can be official yet, right? Now, I got to say, it's always been like this. Free agency never starts in free agency. That's why you always get the announcements as soon as, midnight. It used to be in midnight. Now it's going to be during the daytime on Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. But as soon as the clock strikes, you're going to hear the announcement, oh, said player sign here, said player sign here. It just happens like that because these negotiations and these conversations are being held days, maybe even weeks ahead. So I think LeBron, AD, and now Russell Westbrook have already recruited their role players, and I think they have a plan in hand. And I'm very curious just to see it unravel before our eyes. Who is it going to be? Is there going to be a fourth star? Is it going to be a Buddy or a DeRozan? Doubt that. Or is there going to be a bunch of good role players that are willing to take, veteran minimums to come and win a championship? I think that's the higher probability. So I could see a combination of guys we already mentioned. But yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think we're going into free agency, at 3 p.m. Pacific time, barely making the calls. Now, Rob, he already deployed. We have some of the best superstars in the league, and we just acquired another one. He already deployed these guys to go and recruit. Now, you guys know how I feel about super teams, okay? The only reason it's different is because I'm a biased Laker fan. Obviously, we have a super team now in everybody else's eyes. But in reality, I still want the depth, guys, because usually super teams don't have a lot of depth around them. And God forbid an injury, that's what will be the downfall, similar to Brooklyn. Now, this is the crucial time for Rob to get things done, whether he already had the conversation or he already deployed his superstars to recruit, whatever the case may be. This is the time for Rob to really show his stripes. He's already showing us he's capable of landing star power. He gets an A+ from me just based off of that. Remember, Mitch couldn't even he couldn't even land a meeting, let alone a free agent, right? Mitch Kupchak, after the late great Jerry Buss died. And Jim, Jim was only good at race horse, I don't know. He wasn't a basketball mind. So I do believe that my guy Rob Pelinka has already more than proven himself. He already has a championship under his belt, and he continues to land star power. But if he really wants to put the cherry on top, this is his time. This moment of the offseason, starting August the 2nd, verbally agreeing with these guys and sealing them up, that's when he really makes his paycheck, man. He's a shark. I'm telling you. Don't be surprised if a really good player comes here still, or two. He said, Young Elders said, appreciate you, bro. He said, we need some young 3-and-D guys that can shoot, run, and defend. That's exactly what Otto Porter and Rudy Gay are. Now, Rudy Gay's he's not young, but he's a veteran who still has a lot left in the tank. So he would fit that role. Otto Porter, I think, is I think everybody's favorite right now. I wanted him last year when he got dealt to Orlando. I was hoping they'd bottom him out. He could have made a difference, right? But see, everybody today, I realized I watched little clips on YouTube of Stephen A. and, all these guys on these sport networks trying to trash us for making this move instead of praising us. Only Max Kellerman gave us kind of credit. But everybody else is judging us like our roster is already complete and we have no shooting. We got worse. Oh, my goodness. It's like these haters got to relax. They're going to end up eating their words next season, and we're going to make another mixtape of them just spewing out BS. The roster's not even halfway through, and they're already judging it. So they should have been impressed, and they should have took the wait-and-see approach to see how it rounds out. But I'm sure, like I said, I've seen Rob Pelinka put a last-minute roster together that helped us win a championship by adding guys like Rondo and Dwight, etc. That season that Kawhi ditched us. So I think he's going to do something similar. You're going to be shocked when we start landing these role players, and I'm going to be here to break it live with you guys step by step. And then after that, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the roster and who I think is going to start, how the rotation should look, all that juicy stuff. So we got all this content, man, this summer. Very excited. And, of course, we got Summer League, and then we're going to break down training camp as well. We're going to break down preseason. You know where the diehard relies, man. You know where I stay at, guys. So this is my home. This is your home as well. So Laker Nation, come back all summer long. He said, detail, did you hear what Skip said about Westbrook trade? I really didn't. I knew he was going to hate. But I just heard his little 1-minute take they posted on Twitter. I was making fun of him, of course. But it's all hate, man. It's all hate. Shannon Sharp, I know he's going to show love. So, it's kind of predictable. I wish these sport talk shows were more unpredictable. But they're very predictable. JJ Redick is a free agent looking for a ring, and he might find one if he signs up. We could use somebody like JJ Redick. I'm not sure if I would start him, though, because of his defensive lapses. He's not really a defender. He tries. The effort is there. But he just, flat-footed, and he's not as quick. He gets beat with the first step and stuff like that. So I would love him off the bench, but we'll see what happens. Again, there's a nice little list. I already read it to you guys. For those of you just joining now, that list consists of, obviously, Carmelo, Rudy Gay. You have DeMar DeRozan, even though I don't think he's realistic unless there's a sign and trade involving Dennis. But like I said, the fit, it wouldn't make sense to me. Patty Mills, you got Otto Porter, you got Brian Forbes, Victor Oladipo, who could have been a forgotten case, but if he signs for 4 to 6, I'll take him. You're gonna have Melo and obviously Dwight amongst others. Um, but here's the interesting thing. Okay, there are reports today that are saying that Buddy Hield was, you know, he was blindsided when the trade fell apart. And so that means, I'm not sure if that means it's still going to happen or it's not going to happen, but that means Buddy Hield thought he was a Laker, just like we all did. You know, the report initially was that the Lakers are in advanced talks that are making progress towards a Buddy Hield trade. And according to that rumor, there was no pick involved. So I wouldn't have minded that trade either. But obviously, I told you guys from the beginning, Westbrook to me will make the biggest impact. Forget about the shooting. It's everything else he brings to the table. We haven't had a point guard like this in a long, long time. So it's going to be fun to have a real, true scoring guard, which is what the NBA is tailored after, right? The most successful teams, they have these scoring guards, you know, or he either got to be a scoring point guard or a defensive point guard like Drew Holiday. So, you know, or a floor general. So he said, hey, Dan, didn't know you were doing a live today. You make my day. Keep it up, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, brother. He said, having LeBron and or Russ on the floor at all times of the game is what will separate us from everyone else and get us so many blowout wins. Exactly. It takes an immense pressure. See, people aren't looking at the big picture. People are simple-minded. People that aren't really diehard basketball fans, they'll look at this trade and they'll say, he can't shoot, we're screwed, as if we don't have other roster spots available and, you know, other players are coming as well. You know, they'll look at this trade and see it as a failure. But in reality, the diehard knows when you get a player with the heart and the motor of Russell Westbrook, and you have a player as clutch, a superstar like LeBron James who can mesh with anybody, really. And then you got a superstar and Anthony Davis as well. It's going to work out one way or another. One way or another. He said, Dan, your Lakers don't have cap space. We have a bunch of veteran minimums and the mid-level exception, I think 5.9 or something like that. So we can land one big fish and a bunch of other solid role players. Or should I say, I shouldn't say a big fish. I should say a really good player. Like maybe Otto Porter will take that. That's a dream scenario. Otto Porter takes this deal. He signs for the, you know, for the mid with the Lakers. That's a championship guaranteed. I don't care if we get a bunch of G Leaguers after that. I'm telling you right now. And we bring back Caruso, Taylor Horton Tucker, who I expect to have a leap. By the way, nobody's mentioning how Taylor Horton Tucker is only 21 years old. And he's going to grow and learn. He's already learning from LeBron. I've seen him do the spin move that LeBron loves to do in the lane. He's going to learn from one of the best point guards this league has ever seen in Russell Westbrook. They kind of have, you know, a similar type game. They both love to slash. They're not elite shooters. But if he could take little bits and pieces from these different superstars, he can expand on his game and get better. I mean, that's huge. Derek White, he said, we need players who can guard the Nets. I think, look, Russell Westbrook versus Kyrie Irving depends on the night. Okay, they can cancel out each other for all I care. Depends on the night. There's nights in the playoffs where everything slows down and the hustle player gets the better of the team. And then there's nights in the playoffs where the offensive, the better shooter will get the betterment of the team. So it depends how the flow of the game or defense is going to matter. Everything matters. Kevin Durant versus LeBron James. I'm taking King James. Even at his age, to me, he's still the best player. Okay, to me, he's still the best player in the world. Remember, he was having an MVP season before injuries struck. All right. And then Anthony Davis, basically, they're not cross-matching or nothing. I'm not saying this is a cross-matching, but I'm saying overall as an advantage. Anthony Davis versus James Harden, give me Anthony Davis 10 times out of 10. And then role players is really where it's going to get interesting, right? But what can the Lakers put together? This is where Rob Pelinka is going to make his good money right now. Some say that THC would have been in the lottery this draft easy. That's what I'm saying, Kevin. Now, I don't want to count my blessings before they happen because I don't know if he's going to be involved in another package. Maybe he's the sweetener. Remember, people were enamored by him, and I'm shocked that the Wizards didn't require him. So maybe he's a part of a bigger package. Maybe Buddy's still coming. Maybe he'll get included along with Dennis Schroeder, and he's going to sweeten up the deal. Maybe. So I don't want to be too excited about Taylor just yet because we might end up packaging him away anyways. But if we do keep him, of course, because we still have a main piece of our future. The Lakers are great at drafting and even buying picks and even undrafted picks. Undrafted guys like Caruso, they carve out their niche. So he said Ricky Rubio, I don't think he's a free agent. I think he just got traded, bro. but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that. The Lakers defense will be miles better than the Nets defense, and that's what wins championships to me. And the grittiness too, because when the shots stop falling, it's the hustle plays that get you the victories, man. How many times in the finals was Kobe getting hacked or double or triple team and he was struggling, but his defense was still there, his playmaking was still there, his hustle, his effort was still there. Well, Russell Westbrook has the Mamba mentality. He doesn't have the Mamba skill set, but he has the mentality. He's going to come in here, give it his all. He's diving for loose balls. He's pumping up the crowd, dunking, posterizing people. He's going to be doing all kinds of crazy things, even at his age. He's only 31. People act like Russell Westbrook. We got him at 35 or something. No, he's 31, the same age as Damian Lillard. So he still has the ability to prove himself. And then coming back home, this is another scenario I have thought of. I think the Lakers will leave an open roster spot heading into the season, because if Kevin Love and the Cavaliers can agree to a buyout, that UCLA connection is still there. We could use another stretch big, whether he comes off the bench or whatever. Yes, I know Kevin Love is no longer the same Kevin Love, but if you can get him on a team friendly deal, and they have that chemistry already, and he's played with LeBron before and all that good stuff, that's a possibility down the road. Remember, you heard it here first. I always end up calling these things, and they never happen. Now, I'm not predicting it, but I'm saying it is a possibility, and it could happen. Oh, Nets fans are scared. Look, they're over here spamming on my channel. That's how you know. That's how you know that they're very insecure, like they're superstars. He said, Dan, they act like we can't find shooters. There are shooters everywhere in this league. That's what I'm saying. I'm not concerned about it. That's what I'm saying. That UCLA connection, Russ and K Love, that could really happen, Hyper. Absolutely. He said, personally, I think the Lakers are going to try and dump Drummond, but I personally recommend that he should stay since he has an entire season to gel with LeBron and friends. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know if we're going to dump him or whatever, but he doesn't fit with this current team unless he's willing to take a bench role. We need floor spacing. I actually think, like I said, for the majority of the season, I expect Anthony Davis to play more 5. I think this was something that was agreed upon when Russell Westbrook and LeBron met with AD. In order to space the floor better, you put Anthony Davis at the 5, he's going to be killing teams, man. There's no 5 in this league that can guard him. I'll tell you that right now. And he can guard the 5s in this league. But, again, we might have to get a backup big just for, the really tough matchups, because we don't want Anthony Davis to get injured. So maybe during the season we won't see that lineup all the time. But I'd love to have now. Whiteside would be all right, but I prefer Dwight, and I obviously Noel, if he's an option, I'd love to have him. We're gonna have options, guys, and who do you guys want as a big? Somebody said Kelly Olynyk. Is he a free agent? I would not mind Kelly Olynyk at all, because he can space the floor if we need to play small ball 5. He said Drum is an unrestricted free agent. He can go wherever he wants. And I'm okay with that. He really disappointed me. So I'm not going to shed any tears for Drummond. He said DTLF Joel can guard AD. Not really. AD can run circles around him. I mean, AD, when healthy, is way more mobile than Joel, Crybaby, Embiid. And on top of that, Joel Embiid is always injured, and he's not getting out the East. All right. Have you seen what's going on with Ben Simmons? I'm not even worried about Joel at all. He said Jared Allen. Yeah, he's not going nowhere. The Cavs traded for him with the intent of holding on to him probably for a long time. Okay, the king will not be disrespected on my channel. He said like crybaby. That's not even. See, this is how unintelligent the haters are. All they do is they add the LE, which I guess matches LeBron's first 2 initials, and then they'll attach a word to it like Le Crybaby, Le Diva, Le Brick James. And they think they're the most creative thing that has we've heard those jokes a million times, man. Those are dad jokes, and they're corny. So we're not trying to hear them, bro. If you're gonna say a joke, make it a funny joke, Like, come on, man. Like if he said le hair piece or something, okay, maybe I might get a giggle or something out of it, Okay, it's a funny joke, no hate. But they're not. Come on, bro. Like I said, they're not even getting creative with this stuff, man. Le flop. Le bubble, Let's shut the. That's what I want to say. Let's shut the fuck up, man. He said we need an athletic rim protector. We good on scoring, Dan. Oh yeah, but we also need shooting though. We need floor spacers because you don't want. See what you don't want to happen is for everybody just to pack the paint and give Russell Westbrook and LeBron. Well, LeBron can take open shots, but basically what we don't want is just them to try to force Russell Westbrook to become a 3-point shooter. Just leave him wide open, even though he's capable of making them. But that's not the shot we want. Where what we want to do with Russell Westbrook, we want to play him pick and rolls with LeBron and with AD, and then what you force him to make a decision. And if the help defender comes from the weak side, now you got the shooter in the corner. You make them pay. You want to have options everywhere, so no matter how they defend you, you make them pay. If we can get an automatic 3-point shooter, Doug McBuckets, I almost forgot about him. That would be awesome because those guys are knockdown shooters. When you hit them in the corner or you hit them at the top of the key, they're going to knock it down. He said, Bron Brow Brody. He said, is Russell Westbrook the best point guard since Magic Johnson? Man. I mean, if he keeps playing like with the energy and the passion he has, and he doesn't decline, yes, he might be the best one since Magic. I'd have to say that. Although Nick Van Exel can make a case for that as well. He said, Gasol still play, make, and stretch the floor, but I just wish he was younger. Gasol would be perfect on this team off the bench. I don't even mind Gasol, bro, at all. He said, DeMar is a Laker. Is it still possible? It's highly unlikely. The only way it'd be possible is if the Spurs are interested in Dennis and we work a sign and trade. But yeah, that's probably not going to happen because again, we need some floor spacing, and DeMar is probably not going to want to come off the bench. If he came off the bench, then that would be solid. But see, if you have Russell Westbrook and him in the backcourt, that's two non-3-point shooters. Defenses will just pack the paint and force them to shoot threes. You got to have one to offset the other one. So we're gonna need a shooting type 2 guard there, or even a shooting type 3 guard if LeBron moves up to power forward. Does Kelly Oubre Jr. fit our demand? He doesn't fit our price point. I think he's gonna demand upwards of 10 mil, anywhere between 15 and 17, and he might get paid. There's teams out there looking for semi-young talent, so that could happen, man. But not for us. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not interested in inconsistent players. I prefer veterans like Rudy Gay, maybe even Carmelo, obviously Otto Porter Jr. I prefer guys like that are more consistent. William Blockson, appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the donation, man. We should keep Dennis Schroeder to play backup. I mean, I'm not mad at it if it happens now and he buys into his role because we got our starting point guard now. What I don't want is him starting at the point guard with Russell Westbrook at the shooting guard. That wouldn't fit. We're already going to have LeBron and Russell Westbrook splitting the ball handling guard duties. So, but off the bench, I wouldn't mind. I'm still not a fan of Dennis because he already showed me he has zero passion when he's not motivated. I don't like players like that, so I prefer for him to dip. But if we can get something back in the sign and trade or some pieces, some solid role players, that's the best case scenario for me personally. My boy, hey, what's up, Jarhead? He said, sub DTLF, much love, bro. Man, let's go. Russell Westbrook is a Laker. He said, this is our year, baby. Hey, man, like I said, obviously we still need the role players to fill out the roster, but I'm sure there's a plan in place. I wouldn't even be shocked if we already agreed with a bunch of free agents. It just can't be announced. That everything happens under the table during free agency. And history will tell you that when you get a super team, players want to go there. That's why when Blake Griffin became a free agent, he went to Brooklyn, and LaMarcus, same thing for him. And so, that happens. So don't be shocked if we get some players that we might think are out of our budget. They'll take a huge pay cut just to play 1 year, at least 1 year here. And if we win the championship, there'll be another batch of players that will take a pay cut to play a year. But hopefully, the ones that help us get to the chip stay this time instead of leaving like Rondo and Dwight did. Dan, who is the best shooter on the market? Otto Porter Jr. He's an above. Well, if we want to talk pure 3-point shooting, there's other options. Obviously you got Redick and McBuckets, but if you want bang for your buck, you want that 6'10" frame, that 3-and-D wing, that guy that could slash to the basket and stretch the floor, a career 40% 3-point shooter. you want to get Otto Porter. Second best option for me after Otto Porter will have to be Rudy Gay. Third best option, Carmelo. But if we can get two out of the three, which I don't doubt we could, due to the fact that we have a nice team, we get two out of the three, it's a wrap, man. Starting lineup: Brody, Buddy, Rudy, Braun, and Brow. Again, the Buddy Hield situation was looking good up until the Kings kind of pivoted away from it by adding Tristan. Now, unless Tristan was for the Lakers and to continue to, build on that trade, I doubt it happens at this point. And the fact that reports are coming out that Buddy Hield was blindsided by, the trade not being completed. I know he wanted to be a Laker. He grew up a Kobe fan, grew up a Laker fan. So I know he was bummed out. But, that doesn't sound too promising as far as completing. But again, we just don't know with Rob. He's very sneaky, He's a shark. He's a shark, man. Is Batum available? I think he's a free agent. Am I wrong, guys? Is he unrestricted or is he restricted? Trevor Ariza could be another option. Again, we have options. People are saying Spencer Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie is only an option if the Brooklyn Nets are interested in Dennis and we do sign and trade. So Dinwiddie would be available. But he's not a career three-point shooter either. So I'm not sure if that's our best option. Again, right now we're going to need guys who can knock down threes. That's number one priority, That's the number one priority. After that, then we can go for whatever you guys want. But if we can get one or two more three-point shooters, by the way, we have a couple on this team. Wesley Matthews was clutch at times. Bring him back, in my opinion. I do want to talk about players I want to bring back. Obviously, Ben McLemore, he showed he could stroke it. And playing alongside Russell Westbrook, yeah. And same thing with LeBron. Like, those type of players thrive with those type of players, right? Those role players that can catch and shoot. Yeah, they're going to do good with driving kick players like Russ. And so, to me, Ben McLemore should be a priority as well. Some people are saying Danny Green. I mean, that could happen. He has the experience, and even though he struggled for us once, I would be willing to take another flyer on him. I know a lot of people are going to say, hell no, and this, and that. But I'm willing to, man. It's a different team, and he's a defensive-minded player who can knock down threes at times, But, of course, you're going to have your naysayers and stuff. But you have to be open-minded with this team, because some options are going to be there, some won't. So you have to take the ones that are. Bazemore for the mid-level exception. Bazemore for the veterans minimum. I like Bazemore, but I'm not giving him the mid-level. You can get a better player for that level, that exception. So, again, my target is Otto. If we can't get him for the mid-level exception, I might consider Rudy Gay after that for the mid-level exception. And on down the chart, right? Rondo to the second unit. He's not a free agent. I think he's still under contract with the Flippers, unfortunately for him. But, yeah, that's what happens when you leave the Lakers. Look, historically, when we have won a championship and those players have left the Lakers, they become journeymen, okay? Or they become irrelevant in their career. So that's the sad part. I wish Trevor Ariza never left. He broke records for how many teams he's visited since. He became a journeyman. Same thing with Rondo. Rondo, he left us for the Hawks. Hawks traded him to the Clippers. Now he's over there buried on the end of the bench. He could have been an integral part of our team. Should have stayed, man. For a couple of extra million, sometimes it ain't worth it. Sometimes it is. You say, hey, Dan Stradamus, he said, your prediction on our options, which is 100% possible to get. If I am betting money right now, based on the reports and just looking at the little signs that are happening, I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 between Rudy Gay and Otto Porter. I think those are our top two gets. One of those two is going to be a Laker, in my opinion. If I had to make the prediction right now, if I have to bet the house on it. By the way, I don't own a house, so it's easy for me to bet the house, right? But if I have to, I say Rudy Gay is a more possible option, 60-40, but I still think we have a good shot at Otto Porter. We'll see. Okay, whichever one wants to win more. Whoever wants to win more, sign up, line up for the Lakers, and we'll pick the best ones, Did you see the Clipper Daryl on Twitter? Nah, I don't follow that clown, man. I really don't. Don't give that man attention. He wants the clout. He says the craziest things just to get our attention. He's disrespected some of my personal friends, like Big Baby, calling his now fiance, congratulations, Big Baby, calling her names. So I just don't mess with classless people like that, That's not how we roll. This is Laker Nation. It's all class over here, man. He said, "Buddy healed." If that happens, it's a wrap. Okay, if that happens, it's over for the league. They might as well just ship us the trophy now. The commissioner, Adam Silver, he might as well just design the trophy and ship it before the season starts, and we might as well jump over to 2023 season. But I don't believe, as of right now, the way it's looking right now. Now things can change. Again, Rob is the GOAT for a reason. Things can change, and I'm not gonna stay close-minded and say it's not possible, but it's not likely. Remember when I told you guys after we lost Game 1, after we lost the final game of the first round of the playoffs, the Lakers get eliminated, and I came back on and I said there's a high chance that we end up with somebody like Russell Westbrook. The reason why is because you have to see the little signs. Okay, obviously Russell didn't fit with the Wizards. It wasn't a fit. They had a nice little Cinderella run all the way to the playoffs, but it wasn't good enough. Russell wants to win now. He's getting older. He's a LA native, and he had a great relationship with LeBron. I saw these things, and I put one and two together. That's how I made my prediction, man. That's how I make my predictions. I don't say stuff just to say stuff. You know? He said, Dan, I stay in San Bernardino too. Let's ball at Frisbee Park sometime. That'd be cool, bro. I hoop with anybody, but right now, because of the heat, I've been hooping at the gym because I'm working out there too. So I've been at East Sporta. Used to be known as LA Fitness. Now it's called East Sporta. I don't know why. I've been working out there every day and balling over there. And I'm about to be playing in a league starting Wednesday next week. So yeah, I probably won't be doing any park activities because I don't want to hurt myself, playing on the cement, especially when I'm going to play in a league. But you're always welcome to go to East Sporta, man. Memberships are cheap. Yeah, it's funny. I get the $25 membership, which has unlimited guests, and they probably hate me there because I be bringing like 5-6 hoopers with me every time, and my girl on top of that. So, they probably get really annoyed. But hey, they offer me the membership. I simply take advantage of it, right? I know too many people, so and I asked them before they sold me the membership. I'm like, "You sure? There won't be a problem." They said it was cool, but ever since then, I've been catching a couple of frowns and stuff. I bring all my friends to go hoop. So, but it's fun, man. If you ever want to come through hoop, membership is cheap. I think they'll give you a free trial. I'll be right there, man, off of hospitality. What about Serge Ibaka? Is he a free agent? I don't think he's a free agent. Lakers aren't trying to pay $60 million in luxury taxes. Wait. Kevin King is making a good point right here, man. Let's see. Okay. He said Lakers aren't trying to pay $60 million in luxury taxes. Look at how the CBA, that's a lot of taxes. Actually, Kevin, I usually agree with you, but I will have to disagree respectfully on this one, bro, because I think Jeannie has already said that she's going to follow her father's blueprint and pay whatever it takes to get us back to the championship. So if she has to pay an extra $60 million, that's nothing to her, man. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's like, for the revenue she makes off Laker tickets and merchandise and everything else, plus the TV deals and all that, that's nothing. She can afford to do that. That's why she's with Spectrum. Trust me, man, it's going to pay itself out. So if she has to go 60 or 100 mil over, she'll do it. Her father used to do it all the time. XRP, thank you so much, bro, for donation. He said, are we still able to get DeMar via mid-level, healed via sign and trade? I think that's a bit too much. Yeah, no. Look, nothing would shock me with the Lakers. Anything's possible. But both of those players, like one maybe via sign and trade is a possibility. The other one, I don't think either of those two players, if they were both free agents, would take our mini mid-level exception, which is like 5.6. It's no longer the 9 mil. I don't know the cap rules, but what I've been reading, because of the trade we did, that mid-level exception came down to like half of it, like 5 point something instead of the 10. So yeah, I really don't think DeMar would come down all the way from 27 mil to 5 mil. That's my personal. I'd be shocked, and power to him if he does. LeBron, Brody, and AD should all take $1 million or $2 million off of their paycheck and donate it over to DeMar if he does that. But I don't think it happens again. Dan, I'm pretty sure if I could get a trade exception from Dennis, the Kings would dump Hield on us to re-sign Holmes. I'm not sure they want Holmes back because he's going to want to get paid too much, and they haven't won anything. So they're going to cut ties with a lot of those players. Remember, the Kings aren't the type of organization that really pays to win. They pay to sell tickets. You're not a ticket seller, you're probably gone from that team. So I just don't see it happening. I don't see them even trying to resign Holmes. But as far as Buddy goes, again, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna put the lid on it, and I'm just gonna keep everything open, and I'm gonna stay open minded because it wouldn't shock me. Rob has done some amazing things so far. So if he pulls this off, it's a wrap. Kevin said if the money's not an issue, Heald is still Oh, they still want Holmes? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Kings, especially with Luke Walton. Do they still want Luke Walton? Because if they do, nothing else they do matters. Trust me. Nothing else that they do matters. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Kyle Kuzma. This kid, man, and I thanked his mom personally via DM, and she thanked me as well for always being loyal to Kuz and all that. But this kid was class personified. He could have said some negative things on his way out. He could have said some, pretty harsh things because the fans, not all of them were nice to him. Let's just say it that. Let's put it kindly. He went out and he said some really nice things, man. Some tear-jerking things, and he was literally the last piece of the young core. Think about that. The original young core, he was the last piece. And we officially gutted the whole young core for championships, rightfully so. But it hurts a little bit because you grow attached to these players. They become a part of your family when they get drafted. And, I'll never forget from day one when I saw him in Summer League, I was like, wow, this kid's special. I didn't know nothing about him in college. But, wow, we saw the potential. We immediately jumped on the bandwagon. And it's too bad that, he couldn't adapt to the superstars landing in L.A., but I think his future is bright wherever he goes, man, and I wish him the best. Just a classy kid. His mom, very classy, very gracious as well, man. The fact that she even replied to my message was dope. So, it's a little sad. It's always sad, but it is a business at the end of the day. I wish him the best, and it was all for the better. I think he'll fare better wherever he goes, and will fare better, with the new acquisition. And he's a champion. Don't ever forget that. For everybody that hated on my boy Kuz, put some respect on the name. The kid is a champion. He got better over his career. So that's much love. And, again, 27 pick. He lived the dream, man. He's living the dream. He's a classy Kuz. Don't care what no one says. I enjoy Kuz. He used to cook Tatum 40 points in 3 quarters. I was there when he scored 40 points in 3 quarters. I was there live. I vlogged it. Don't believe me? Go check out the vlog. I was wearing my Kuz socks that my brother got me on my birthday. So, he dropped 40 in 3 quarters. That was dope, man. Really dope. He said, Mark is still under contract, so he's our big backup big. Oh, yeah, that's a very solid option right there. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, Andy. So that's awesome, Dan. Honestly, I miss all the young core from back in the day. I hope Kuzma thrives. Yeah, man. But at the end of the day, man, it is sad, but Los Angeles is not a rebuilding franchise. Los Angeles, we had to go through that for a little bit, right? Because of the new CBA and certain rules that you couldn't trade or sign for certain players. So there was an adjustment period. But in reality, anytime we get assets or young players, and we don't have the superstars in place, those young players are going to get recycled. I hate to use the word like that because they're not items, but they're going to get recycled for superstars. That's the way LA has always done it. There's been rare occasions where, a player like Kobe Bryant, we draft him from the beginning and we get to keep him his whole career. That's the beauty of it. That's why Los Angeles loves him. But that's a rare occasion, man. The other player we had, and we also got to see him develop and grow before our eyes after Kobe Bryant, was Andrew Bynum. So that's how far between the gap is of how often we get to see a young player flourish and help us win championships. But eventually he got traded as well. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the business. It's nothing personal. We'll love these young players forever, as long as they don't go to the hated franchises and act like douchebags. But overall, man, it's a pleasure watching young players grow. It's almost like you watch your own kids grow up, We get to see them when they're young and wet between the ears, and then all of a sudden they're Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year. Julius Randle, first-time All-Star. Brandon Ingram, first-time All-Star. It's fun, man. It's fun to me to see their development. Hey, I appreciate it, Gabriel. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. He said, I'm the biggest DTLF fan. That means a lot, bro. That means a lot. Is DeRozan still in play? I have no clue, to be honest with you. I hate to give you an answer on that because technically it could happen if we do a sign and trade for Dennis, we could either land somebody like Buddy, Spencer Dinwiddie, or DeRozan. But we don't even know if Dennis is just going to leave via free agency or he's going to use us to facilitate him getting more money or whatever the case may be. So is it possible? Yes. My percentage on the odds of us still getting Buddy Hield or DeMar DeRozan is like 25%, right? It's just, there's a decent possibility it could happen, but it's not likely. I wouldn't lie to you guys, man. I wouldn't lie. Because if Philly is real desperate right now to get Simmons off their roster, their offer to the Warriors especially was hilarious. They want James Wiseman and a couple of picks, I think for Ben Simmons. And they wanted Wiggins. They wanted Wiggins, James Wiseman, the 2 lottery picks they ended up picking and keeping so far, and 2 future or 3 or 4 future first-round pick swaps for a man that can't shoot right now. Now, I like Ben Simmons. He's very talented. He's not a scoring type. I don't think he'll ever will become at this point of his career. But he's not even worth half of that package. No disrespect. But I always told you guys this from the beginning, and I remember there was some pushback. But I always saw Brandon Ingram's potential when we had him. I said, I have a feeling Brandon Ingram will be a top 10 player in this league at some point in his career. Okay? And people thought I was crazy because he was skinny. You know, he came out averaging, like 12 points his rookie season. But I saw the potential, man. And I even went out on a limb and I said, guarantee you Brandon Ingram will be a better overall player than Ben Simmons. Now tell me, 4 or 5 years later down the road, was I right or was I right? Right? So I see a lot of potential in these kids, and I think a lot of our fans, we just need to be patient with these young players. I see a lot of potential in this kid, Taylor Horton Tucker, now. So we're able to be blessed enough to keep him. I just want us to be patient with him and enjoy his success and be understanding when he struggles because he's young. And watch. He'll eventually, if we're patient with him, maybe we won't put the pressure on the fan base to trade him, and maybe he's one of the few that ends up playing most of his career here with the Lakers. He said, no way the Lakers are doing a sign and trade for DeRozan sign and trade. We're 130 with 5 players. Hard cap is 143. So what is a 10-player, 13 mil? Yeah, again, man, I'm not the numbers crunching type, so I'm not going to predict who we are going to sign and trade for and who we're not. But I will say this. Jeannie Buss has already been on the record as to say she's willing to go over the luxury tax, whatever it takes to build a champion. So I think if Rob, goes to her and says, hey, we have an opportunity here to acquire this talent that's going to guarantee a championship if they're all healthy, but it will cost you some money, I think she'll reach into her pocket and say, here you go, man. This chump change to me. Do you know who I am, Rob? Don't even ask. Next time, just make the trade. This chump change to me. I'm the queen of LA, man. And so I think it can happen. He said, Russ is a poor free throw shooting. Late game score scares me, Dan. Nah. Come on, man. It doesn't have to come to that. At the end of the day, the game of basketball doesn't always come down to free throws. It does sometimes. But in a 7-game series, you mean to tell me that free throws are going to determine whether we win or lose in a 7-game? Then in that case, I will tell you this. The better team won. If they beat us based off of free throws, we weren't the better team. But coaching staff does have to be smart. Obviously, if it's a close game, you can't have too many poor free throw shooters out on the floor because they're going to do the hack a shack. So, we have to have other role player options as well who can knock down shots and free throws. And remember, do you remember who it was that sealed the finals versus the Boston Celtics for us in 2009-2010 season? It wasn't Kobe Bryant. It wasn't even Pau Gasol. It wasn't our first or second best player. It wasn't even our third in Lamar Odom or Bynum, whichever one you want to put there. It was Sasha Vujacic, a role player. So you can't make moves based on can they shoot free throws or can they shoot threes. You got to make moves based on do they have heart, do they have passion, are they going to give their all? And if they are, then that's an easy yes for me. That's why I've been wanting Russell Westbrook. From the moment I saw the effort, the moment that I saw the effort that Dennis Schroeder put up, that's when I started thinking about Westbrook. I said, who is the complete opposite of this parasite, man? No disrespect. I'm just playing. Not a parasite. Let's not go that far. But who's the complete opposite of Dennis Schroeder? And immediately, Russell Westbrook. And I said, okay. Then I started thinking, is that a possibility? Yes. Okay, that's who we should target. Forget about shooting. We'll address that through other positions. Sasha hitting them free throws. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. It was strategy. We pass the ball to the free throw shooter. Free throw shooter gets fouled. Right? He said, Dan, do you want McKinney back? I don't mind him. He was a decent 3-and-D guy. And he was actually knocking down threes at a high clip. Now, he didn't get too many opportunities, but if we need to scrape, for scraps and get certain players to fill out the roster, McKinney would be pretty decent. Why not? Why not? Brian B, appreciate you, bro. He said, I want Kelly Olynyk, Dan. He's a good decision maker, and he can bust out the threes. I would not mind having that kid at all. He's been solid since Miami. He could put a 20-plus point game up with 10 rebounds here and there. And like you said, he's a 7-footer who fits the modern-day NBA. Sure. Why not? But remember, I said it here first. Keep an eye out for Kevin Love. That UCLA connection, that Cleveland Cavalier, LeBron James connection is there as well. Plus UCLA with Russell Westbrook. Plus coming back home to his, hometown, LA, Cali kid. If he gets bought out by the Cavs, I think the Lakers are the surefire choice. He said, DTLF next year, let's trade Westbrook for Lillard. Oh my God. Let's not talk trades anymore, man. We just had a blockbuster. Let's just enjoy what we have. This is the problem, man. We always looking way too far ahead, Vitali. But, if that was a possibility, yeah, of course. But right now, we're going to respect Brody. We're going to embrace him. And we're going to show him the love he deserves, man. He's coming back to Cali. No better storyline. And if we make it to the finals and Brooklyn is there, can you imagine how electric that's going to be? I don't think there'll be a more entertaining final since Boston versus the Lakers. So, man, so much to cover, guys, this summer. Make sure you guys keep it locked. Thank you guys so much for the donations, the likes, and the comments. I have to head out and run some errands right now, so I'm about to log off. But if anything happens, and remember, keep key dates for you to remember. All right, for those of you that work or whatnot, let me tell you something. Key dates for the Lakers: Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, free agency with the verbal agreements, not the official free agency, which kicks off August, I think, 6th. But basically, we can reach any sort of deals and agreements with Dennis and whoever for signing trades, whatever. Monday, okay? And then August 8th, well, obviously the official free agency, August 6th, and then August 8th, we get Summer League. So that'll be interesting. By then, we might have a more complete roster. So a lot of content to come. Make sure you guys turn on your post notification bell and smash the like button if you don't mind, guys. It truly helps the channel out. Thank you guys so very much, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one. You know where to find me at all times on Twitter. So if you guys have any more questions or want to talk, follow me on Twitter. All the information is down below, man. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day.